Hello and welcome to the podcast Love Yourself and Live Your Life, your podcast for personal development, a positive mindset and more consciousness in your life. My name is Jolanthe and I'd like to thank you so much for being here today with me again and listening to this podcast episode. It makes me absolutely happy and grateful. Thank you very, very much. In this episode, I would like to speak about the importance of routines for children. Why are routines so beneficial? How can they help children? And I will also share our routines, mainly in the morning and in the evening. What do we do? How do we go to bed? How do we wake up in the morning? And how do we start the day in a positive way? Because starting the day in the right way, in the positive way, has got a huge impact on the rest of the day. So if that's something that you would like to find out a little bit more about, listen to this episode and I hope you enjoy it. All of us parents, we always want the very, very best for our children. And so do I. I always want the best for my child. The school is starting in the next few days after such a long break. My daughter has not been at school for the last 6 months due to the lockdown, but as well the summer holidays. And of course, it does not only apply to summer holidays, but as well every time children don't go to school for a few weeks, whether it's Christmas holidays, Easter holidays or whatever. Very often I do hear and I do observe how children are struggling. It is a challenge for them. They experience fear, they experience anxiety. They don't know what is going to come after the break. So a new routine will be starting. And I observed especially during holidays how the focus of the children gets lost. So they need to learn to focus again because of all these distractions that are out there, all the stimulus out there, such as computers, laptops, telephones, TVs, even toys, this kind of flashing toys with sounds and movements, they are all distracting the children. And there is more and more children, young children, that have stress symptoms. And that has huge consequences on the child's well-being and also on their focus, on their concentration. But there are things that we can do to help our children to learn to focus and to learn to relax. And mindfulness is such a powerful tool that we can really use every single day, anytime, everywhere we are. And I learned from my previous experience, while I did not have any routine, how stressful life has been. And I realized for the last few years how easy it can be by simply changing some of our habits and bringing a new daily routine into our life. So I think one of the biggest changes for me was to wake up earlier than I used to. Waking up last minute always causes stress, always brings a lot of hectic and a lot of rush into every single morning. So, and if you start being stressed already, that automatically applies to your child. Because just as an example, you as the parent, you go stressed into your child's bedroom to wake them up. And instead of going calm and relaxed with time, you go already stressed. So that stress affects your child, your child's day, your child's well-being. And the more stressing each day begins, the more difficult it is to motivate our child, our children. And I know for a fact that children do like routines. They even need routines. Routines give them a security. They give them a sense of being safe. And if you don't have a morning routine yet, I would really, really encourage you to look into that, because it will have a huge impact on you, on your life, on your well-being, and also on the life and the well-being of your child. So I will share my and our morning routine that we have implemented and that really works very well for us. However, it may not work for you. So take our morning routine as an inspiration, and maybe there is 1 or 2 or 3 of our routines that may work for you or may not work for you, but you can find your own morning routine. Do it slowly, step by step. There is no need of rushing, of changing everything completely straight away, because these big changes and trying to change everything suddenly, it usually doesn't work very well, and it is very difficult to change. So by changing only something, focusing on one routine, either the morning routine or the evening, and changing 1 or 2 things, and over time, and once everything is set, then you can add a new routine into every single day. So what I have changed, the first big change to my routine was waking up earlier and giving some time to myself, meditating, practicing gratitude, doing some positive affirmations, and just really spending some time with myself in a very quiet, calming way, looking forward to the day. So after I have given myself a little bit of time and love and attention, I will go to wake up my daughter, and I will also wake her up with time so that we have got a few minutes more time to stay in bed and cuddle. So instead of waking her up, getting into the room and saying, "Come on, get up now, it's time to go, it's time to get ready, we need to quickly get ready because we're late," and that's what I used to do, I would come into her bed, I would lie down with her, I will cuddle her, I will give her some kisses, I will tell her what an amazing girl she is, how much I love her, how grateful I am to have her in my life. I will encourage her, and I will say some positive affirmations that when she starts waking up, she already hears some positive things, some loving things. And then it always depends on the morning how she feels, but I always try to, if it is possible, of course, I will ask her if she would like to do a meditation or if she would do to practice some yoga. So there is either one or the other, or sometimes even both. Sometimes it's just a breathing meditation. Sometimes it is a meditation to put just an intention for today. Sometimes it's just only to think about the day, what is going to come today, to look forward to the new day. Or if she decides not to want to do any meditation, we will do a very slow yoga session, where she slowly can move. And of course, during the yoga session, there is always a bit of some breathing exercises, a bit of mindfulness as well. So we always start the day in a very calming, relaxing way. So after the yoga, she would get dressed. Sometimes she gets dressed before. It just really always depends in what kind of mood she is. And then once she's dressed, we will meet all in the dining room and have our breakfast together. The breakfast that we have is always very healthy, a very balanced breakfast. So we start with fruits. We start sometimes with healthy pancakes, banana pancakes or apple pancakes. Homemade jam without any sugar. We have nuts, we have linseed, we have sunflower seeds. So all this kind of healthy, balanced diet, sometimes even porridge. It just really depends how she feels. There is always a little bit of an option, but we make sure that we start the day without any added sugar and with a very healthy and balanced breakfast. During the breakfast, what is really important for us is to communicate, to speak with each other, to make sure that the time we have, we are not distracted by the TV, we are not distracted by the phone or internet or whatever. So we really sit there for this 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. We please speak about the day, we speak how she slept, how she feels, what is going on, anything really that comes up, we plan the day a little bit, and she's always involved in this conversation, because communication is so important. Because very often we just get already distracted, preparing to go to work, rushing from the kitchen to the bedroom, getting dressed while the kid might be sitting downstairs watching TV and having his breakfast by himself. And I think this is such a valuable time that we can and we should give our children the attention. So all these other things, they can be done either before waking up the child, or ideally even the night before. We can plan in advance, we can prepare the clothes for the next day, we can prepare the work documents or whatever needs to be done the day before, the evening before. So while we sit together at the dining table, it always depends because it changes every single day. Sometimes we just say some positive affirmations. Sometimes we will play a mindfulness game. Sometimes we will say what we are grateful for. And everyone needs to mention something we are grateful for today. So that really always depends on the day, on the situation, on the moment, what we are in the mood for. After the breakfast, when we have some spare time, it always really depends how much time is left there. We will either put a song on where we can dance a little bit, where we can smile, where we, be happy, or we do some small motivational exercises, which is one of the exercises. It's yes, 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 or sometimes we change it into I can do it, and it gives a lot of positive energy. Or we would stand up in this Superman pose and just only say some positive things, or we would do a mirror exercise. We will stand in front of the mirror and say some positive things about ourselves, something to encourage us, something to affect us in a positive way. Or another thing that we do, we would play a game, or my daughter will do a little bit of sport and exercise, whatever, it's either trampoline or the bar or whatever really she's just in the mood for. So for these things, we always calculate another 5 to 10 minutes, not too much time as well, but something that she can do, something that she enjoys, something that makes her happy before going to school. And I remember the times when she used to go to school without us having this routine, without having a proper routine. There was so much stress every single morning. We were rushing, we were stressed, so many tears. And every time I was stressed, it automatically affected her and her well-being. So she started being tearful, she started being stressed herself, and that affected me again. So we ended up being in a circle that both of us being stressed and angry and sad and all of these emotions, that the mornings were not enjoyable. But by simply bringing a little bit of structure into this morning routines, it's not only important for us adults, but it's also so beneficial to children, because children, they orientate on us parents, whether it's consciously or whether it's subconsciously. The way us parents we live is the way our children learn for us, and that becomes to a new routine. And this is how they will live their lives, because they don't know it any other way. So think, what life do you offer your child? And what life do you want to teach your child? Is there any way how you can improve the morning? Check it for yourself. Check out, how do you spend having the breakfast together? Do you have a conversation? Do you listen with some music in the background? Or do you watch TV or run from the bedroom downstairs to the kitchen? And are you getting dressed in a rush? And in a rush, finish preparing the documents for the work or for the school? Because the calmer the morning begins, the calmer and the happier you are and your child will be. So I would really encourage you, give it a try. Give it a try for a month. Don't give up too early, but give yourself a month, and you will see your child will adapt quickly to the new routines. And what I realized, these routines, they need to be fun, because otherwise they will not work. You may think, after listening to all the routines that we are having every single time, how much earlier you need to wake up. And yes, I started waking up earlier, but it may not be even necessary for you, because instead of having the morning arguments, instead of having the stress and tears, if you start in a calm and relaxed atmosphere, you may not even need to wake up much earlier than that, because there won't be any more arguments, there will not be any more tears, there will not be any more stress. So our evening routine is like that. We have dinner together, all of us, and again, during dinner, we ask questions, we speak about the day, we ask, how was your day? And then we just listen. We are listening without any rating what the child has to say. We ask how the child is feeling. We would ask what has happened during the day, or what was the best of the day. And I always like to speak about what was the best, what did you enjoy the most, and speaking about the gratitude, speaking how grateful we are to have had experienced whatever she was able to experience. And then when it's bedtime, I would spend another few minutes with her, cuddling her, being with her, listening to her, speaking a little bit more about whatever she would like to speak about. And then it really depends on the day, on the time. She can either then read a few minutes more of her book, or we would meditate together just for another few minutes to calm the day. Sometimes she even says that there is something she is a little bit anxious about. So then we would do a meditation for fear, or, whatever it is, we just always adapt it to the day. And if she doesn't feel, and if she thinks that she does not need a meditation, I have recorded some positive affirmations that I put on for her, so she can listen to them just before falling asleep, or even falling asleep while she is listening to them. And I realized that they work very calming for her as well, because she always had trouble falling asleep. Sometimes it was 10, 11 o'clock and she still wouldn't sleep. So I realized by simply putting on this positive affirmations, there was this background noise that I will be speaking, and she just listens to these affirmations, and usually she falls asleep quite soon after. So these are routines that we have in our house. And again, be patient with yourself. You can try out these different routines for yourself. Some of them may work for you and your family. Some of them may not work for you and your family. But be patient with yourself. Don't rush. And I know myself how beneficial routines are in our everyday life, especially in the morning and in the evening. So I really hope you can make it a success for you. You can find your own routines. And if you have got any routines already, I would absolutely love hearing from you. Maybe you can share your routines with me, maybe some more inspiration for us, for other listeners. So if you would like to share your routines, that would be absolutely wonderful. And also if you want to leave me some comments, I always absolutely love hearing from my listeners. So feel free to contact me directly on Facebook or on Instagram, Jolanthe Colleague. You can leave me as well a comment on Facebook below the post. And yes, I'd absolutely love hearing from you. And if you don't want to miss any future episodes of this podcast, then just simply subscribe and you will be notified every time a new podcast episode goes live. So thank you so much again for listening. I really, really hope you enjoyed this podcast. Take care of yourself. Loads of love. Your Jolanthe.